Okay, so now the meeting is streaming on YouTube. Looks good. Let's pass on this. Okay, so we have a couple of participants. So we have Neha. Yes, Neha, can you please introduce yourself? We also have Vishnu. No participants to unmute. Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening, Neha. Good evening. You're from which college? Which year?
Sir, I am third year PG from PGIDS Rohtak.
Okay, PJ Rohtak. Okay.
Yes.
Dr. Manjunath, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good to have you. Yes, we have also Dr. Shri Priya. Hello, Priya. I think she's quite frequent to our sessions.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. How's everything, Priya?
Fine, sir. Fine. Good going.
Everything's fine in PG, yeah?
Yes, sir.
We have Sakshi here who's just completed her final hurdle of MDS. So look at her with that white smile on her face. So don't worry, everything will be all right after your PG.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Shukla.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Okay. Priya's again finally a postgraduate from Orissa. Okay, we also have Upasna. Upasna also, I guess, is the postgraduate. Yes. Okay. All right. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes actually before we can start off.
Yes.
Let's just, okay, I'll just pause your screen sharing for a while. Okay. How many fans of Money Heist here? Anybody there? Since season 3 is just released, everybody's talking about it everywhere. Okay. Okay, meanwhile, everybody join in. I think let's just go watch and come. Yes.
We can't wait anymore.
For the most Padu show.
Jaldi आओ, it's season 5. Chalo one last time for the craziest ride of all time.
வெயிட் பண்ண முடியல செம்ம ஷோக்காக ஜல்தி வா
Hello season 5. Chalo PH ride for the craziest ride of all time. अब से ना होगा कितना वेट करवाएगा सितंबर अगस्त में क्यों नहीं आता है
Oh, season 5. Jaldi arrive. The most Jagash show of all time.
Miss my show dearly.
Made up fan theories so I can gyan pe le jao
In season 5, ఎవరవుతారు survive? ఎవరింకా sudden గా ఉండరు alive?
For Nairobi.
For Berlin.
For Moscow and Oslo.
For Arturo.
पर वो साला तो जिंदा है.
Oh, I know. I just really want him dead.
our minds will be blown like that show with thrones. Even your trailer was so wow, wow. It's season 5. Chalo one last time. Let's end it on the highest high. We can't wait anymore for the most fadu show. Jaldi aao, jaldi aao, jaldi ra ra ra. Lo kariya, jaldi 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 aao. We can't wait anymore for the most fadu show. Jaldi aao, jaldi va, jaldi aao, jaldi aao, jaldi 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 aao.
We are coming. 3rd September ko.
All right. So that was a kickstart for today's session. Okay. Can you hear me, Sakshi?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
All right. Let's, okay, just look into the session now. Okay. So welcome everyone to PhD 101 Rapid Revision series here. Today we have with us Dr. Sakshi Shukla. Now, Dr. Sakshi has just completed our MDS in Public Health Dentistry, and he will be taking up a session today on health education and promotion. Okay, so without giving out any spoilers, right, for the session ahead, right? So I just want to ask Sakshi to just project her screen. Yeah, I think you can share your screen.
Yes,
All
sir, yes, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Is it visible?
Okay. Fine.
Can
So
I start now?
yeah, just a minute before we can start the session. So let me just inform everyone that we're having a little bit of exam fear and tension everywhere. So all of you guys, I think this revision session will really help you in that pursuit. In fact, exam dates have been announced in various universities. In fact, our university in Karnataka, we just got the dates today. So students are a little, tensed and anxious because they're wondering, so exam starting sometime in the end of October and November, big first week. So keeping all that things in mind, so we have a packed session for the rest of the month. In fact, what we do on Wednesdays every week is just a small rearrangement this week that we happen to do it on a Friday. But I would like to inform everybody that we'll be starting off with the regular sessions in the subsequent Wednesdays to come. So we'll be taking up the topics which are most commonly asked in the examinations for final year BDS students. And also it'll be like a quick revision for the postgraduates who are a part of the PhD 101 family across the country. So I'd like to just introduce to everybody to the panel today, our speaker for today, Dr. Sakshi Shukla. A little bit of introduction about Sakshi. She has completed her master's in public health dentistry from Surendra Dental College and Research Institute, Sri Ganganagar, Rajasthan. She also has completed a BDS from the same college. So she's an alumni of there, Rajiv Gandhi University of Health, Rajasthan University of Health Sciences. Okay. Now talking about how we've come across Sakshi is, especially in her final year post-graduation, she was a panel, part of many discussions and workshops here at PhD 101. And she's been really active and then has completed successfully, or rather survived the rigors of post-graduation and ready to embrace the world of dental public health. So I won't really go into much details. I think I'd like to invite Dr. Sakshi and thank her so much for taking out time for today and for doing this session for us. So Sakshi, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
All clear, please.
Okay, thank you, sir, so much for that introduction. And good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing good and fine. And thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. So today I'll be educating you about health education and promotion. Just a second. Okay, so today's topic is health education and health promotion. These are the contents and it looks quite big, so I will just skip that. Coming to the introduction. See, education, everyone knows, it comes from a word educare, from a Latin word which means to bring out and to lead. Okay, so health education is an active learning process. It keeps on going, which aims at changing attitude and behavior related to health practices and individual at community or community level. So what happens is when you give health education to a person about the good health habits, and then you just hope that it will aim at changing the attitudes and behavior that are related to health practices to opt good habits such as brushing and all. So now coming to the definition of health education. Definition of health education was given at National Conference on Preventive Medicine in USA. The definition states that health education is a process which informs, motivates, and helps people to adopt and maintain healthy practices and lifestyles, advocates environmental changes as needed to facilitate this goal and conducts professional training and research to the same end. This is something that you have to by heart and I can't explain. Now coming to aim and importance of health education. Basically, there are three mains of health education. The first aim is early diagnosis and management. So whenever you give education to the people, individual or community, at some part we'll be telling them about the features that will be like clinical science. In that way, that person will be able to early diagnose and manage the health. The second one is the health promotion, which we'll be talking later, and disease prevention. The third is healthy lifestyle, maintaining healthy lifestyle and utilization of health services. When you will be telling people about the health services that are available for them, they will utilize the health services. Now, coming to next slide. Just a second. Okay, now coming to the approaches to achieve health. What are the different approaches, ways you can achieve health? The first one is the regulatory or legal approach, as the name indicates itself. It is done by the government or government bodies, okay, by making rules. Now, second one is a service approach or administrative approach, where you provide health services to the population and door to door and or any other way. The third is the health education, the educational approach. You teach them, you tell them about the facts that are related to their health. The fourth one is the primary healthcare approach, such as community participation. You involve the people themselves in the health process. Now coming to the models of health education. There are basically three models of health education: the medical, motivational, and social. In simple terms, medical, as the name itself says, it is concerned about on the disease, their treatment, the recognition of diseases. Okay, you just tell them about the disease, you tell them how to recognize between the healthy and non-healthy tissues. And then it is not related any way to social and other factors. Then comes the motivation. So the idea behind motivation model is that whenever you give health education to a population, it just should not be a fact they know. It should be something, some act they do. Okay. So it is based on the translation of the given education into action. Okay. The third one is the social. The social is other than the medical and motivation, other than the person itself, their habit itself. It is focused on patients or the individual's culture, their biology, and physical and environmental factors. Okay. So this is the most important part of health education. There are 13 health education, in which the 13th one was added later. So we'll be talking about these principles one by one. The first one is the creditability. As the name itself indicates, creditability. It means that whenever you're giving health education to a individual or to a community, it should be like just not a fact that you come up with. It should be like scientifically proven based on fact. It should have a scientific background. Okay. In that way only your health education will be considered trustworthy by the receiver. Then comes the interest part. Interest is like it should be of interest to the population. It should affect them. It should have a role in their life. Okay. Like for example, I'm giving you this presentation because it is of your interest. That's why only you are listening it and you will follow it. Similarly, when health education you give to a population, it should be of their interest. It should affect them. Now coming to the community participation or the participation. See, whenever you are giving health education to a population, it should encourage people to participate in the program. The way like they can ask questions and you can involve them in the discussion. It should not be one way. Okay, it should be the two-way. Like you can conduct group discussion, you can do panel discussions, etc. You should give the people a chance to take part in the program, which leads to their acceptance of the program. Coming to the motivational part, here it is said like the health education can be facilitated by the motivation provided by the desire of the individual. See, for you, motivation to study is to get good grades. Okay, similarly for a teenager, the motivation to maintain good oral hygiene is to have like they can have good aesthetics. For an adult, the expenses of undergoing restorative care, like if you're giving uh, health education to an adult, then obviously it will put out this point like, okay, fine, if you take care at this particular moment, later on it will be like cutting off your expenses. That will be the motivation to carry on the health education. Okay, health step. Now coming to the comprehension. See, whenever you start giving your health education, know the level of literacy of the population, the understanding of the audience at how much level they can follow you. Like if you go to a place where they have low level of literacy or they can't understand, you just go there and you say, stop eating, cut out carbs and all. So at that moment, they won't even know what is carbs. So it will be of no use for them. Like you just go and say some facts and all that. So before you go, like when you go there, just try to understand their level of literacy, and you have to say in this other way, if you say like, okay, fine, you have to cut short your sugar intake. It will be good for your health. In that way, they will be able to. Now comes the reinforcement. It's the repetition needed in health education. Like whenever you provide health education, whenever you study, like for example, or whenever you read some new thing, you have to revise it so that it is gained. Similarly, whenever you're giving a health education to a population, though you have to keep on repeating, reinforcing the education that you are giving. Okay, it is not possible for the people to learn new things in a one go, in a short period of time. All right. Now comes the learning by doing. Here you can see a diagram like a kid, is trying to ride a cycle. Like you can just learn riding a cycle by reading in a book, pedal mother and all that. Obviously, you have to try it by yourself. Whenever you are teaching a kid, like for example, how to brush, you can't just tell them the technicality, the 45-degree angle and all that. You have to make them do the brushing itself. So there's a Chinese proverb which says, if I hear, I forget, if I see, I remember, and if I do, I know. So this whole learning by doing thing follows that. It is that just by listening new ideas or seeing new things, it might be difficult to implement them. Okay. I think this is clear. Okay, now coming to the known to unknown. You have to find out whenever you're giving health education to an individual or to a community, you have to find out how much the people already know and then give them the new knowledge. Okay, like you're going to some place and you want to tell them about the new variant of coronavirus and some genetic thing about the coronavirus. You can't just start with the place you know. From the point you have to start telling them about the virus, something they already know about the infection, and then the coronavirus, and then you have to go further to the next level. Similarly, you have to see their existing knowledge of the people, which is the basic step, and then move forward to the next step. Setting an example, the health educator should follow what he delivers. There's a whole story on Gandhiji that a lady came to Gandhiji and she was like, my child has a habit of eating jaggery a lot. So she wanted Gandhiji to tell the child that you should stop eating jaggery. So she went to Gandhiji and she was like, please tell my kid to stop it. To Gandhiji replied that come after 2 days or 3 days. She came after 3 days, and to which he just in a normal way said to the child, stop eating jaggery. To which the lady replied that if you wanted to say, if you were to say the same thing, why didn't you say on the same day? That day, the Gandhiji said that the day you came to me and you asked me to tell the child to stop eating jaggery, I myself had this bad habit of eating jaggery time to time. So I can't just tell him something that I myself to stop something that I myself have a habit of. Similarly, if you're telling a person, an individual, a community to stop eating tobacco or ill effects of tobacco, you should not be seen smoking. Okay, since it sends a wrong signal to the and seriousness, the situation is lost. Coming to the good human relationships, and normal and in health educators should have a kind and friendly nature towards the people in such a way that people we should always be helpful in clarifying doubts that the people can come with their doubts and they can ask them to repeat in the health education class. So for any program to be successful, feedback is the most important step. Okay, whenever you are giving health education, okay, then if you have to keep on taking feedback, like I'm telling you about this health education and promotion, I have to ask you whether you are understanding or not, you're following or not, because without that, I won't even know which part I have to stop, which part I have to modify. Okay. So for any program to be successful, it is necessary to collect feedback to find out if any modifications are needed to make the program more effective. Now coming to the community leaders. Leaders can be used to educate the people for healthy lifestyles. The leaders will have an understanding of the need of the community and advise and guide them. See, they are leaders for a reason because the population follow them. So you can utilize them. You can utilize them to impart your health education. Like in villages, they are the head of village. In schools, they are teachers and principals to which the population follow. Okay. Now coming to the seed, soil, and sower, which is a bit difficult. The soil, seed, and sower fact, it comes like with an example of planting a seed. Like whenever you plant a seed, whenever a person plants a seed, here the seed itself is the knowledge. Okay. The sower is the person who is giving the knowledge, and the soil is the person who is on the other end receiving it. Like I am telling you about the health education, I am giving you the knowledge, so I am the sower. The health education knowledge itself is the seed, and the soil is the person who is gaining the knowledge. I hope that is clear. I hope everyone's following whatever I'm saying. Okay. Now, what can be the contents of health education? It can be human biology, it can be nutrition, it can be hygiene, about hygiene, it can be about family health care, control of communicable and non-communicable diseases, and use of health services. The methods, how you can provide health education. There are three basic methods. There are three ways you can approaches you can provide health education. The first one is the individual, that is like face to face, one-on-one. The second is the group approach, where like you must have attended seminars and conferences. And the third one is the large population, that is a mass group, such as population of the state, a country, like that. Okay, so these can be provided like for individual approach, as I told you before, you can do the personal contact, interviews, home visits, or personal letters. For group approaches, you can go for lectures, demonstrations, discussion methods, group discussions, etc. For mass approach, you can again come out for some things that reach to a large population like television, radio, newspapers, etc. Okay, now coming to the second part of this presentation, that is the health promotion. Even before I start with the health promotion, I would like to tell you that there's a difference in health education and promotion, is that health promotion includes health education. Okay, health promotion includes various other factors as well, and health education is one of them. So the health promotion was given in the year 1974, and it can a wide range of strategy designed to tackle the wider determinants of health. Okay. The definition was given by WHO in 1990, which stated that health promotion is the process of enabling people to increase control over and to improve their health. Okay, which was given in June 90 by WHO. This is what I was saying, that health promotion is an umbrella term. It includes various things. Give me a second. It includes various things such as health education, economic or regulatory activities like okay, environmental health, public policies, the rules that have been made, the community-based works, organizational development. So basically, it is health promotion. It is an umbrella term which includes other factors like other policies other than health education. And then comes the model of health promotion. Okay, the model it includes three things: health education, health protection, and health prevention. Okay. Now, this figure I kept so that you can understand the relationship between major health concepts. Here, like health promotion, I have already told you there is involvement of health education and other factors also. So the health education, wherever there is a risk factor, okay, these risk factors can be the habits like behavior of an individual or community themselves. So wherever the risk factors are present, you can give health education, which is dependent on like which focuses on individual capacities. Okay? And wherever there is a risk condition such as genetic diseases or other factors, obesity and all diseases, you can go for health public policies. Okay, where the if you can't be successful by focusing on a person individual capacities, and then it will lead to the health literacy. Obviously, the patient health behavior and practices will be changed, and ultimately there will be improved health outcomes and remove inequities. So that was a bit difficult, I guess. So here I have kept again the reinforcement thing. Here I have tried to tell you the difference between the health education versus health promotion. Health education, it involves giving information and teaching individuals and communities how to achieve better health. This is health education. And health promotion, in contrast, involves social, economic, and political change to ensure the environment is conducive to health. Then in 1994, in Tolson report, they gave a equation that is health promotion is equal to health education and healthy public policy. I hope everyone is understanding. So these are few points why we need health promotion. It promotes quality of life, reduces inequities in health, reduces pressure on services, adds life to year and adds year to life, etc. Now coming to the process of health education. Okay. So for the process of health education, first we have to see the focuses. The focus can be individual, the group, or the population. The strategies can be for individual like education counseling, economical change or legislative change, policy or organization change, which will further lead to the behavioral educational change. Obviously, when you give them the educational change about the good and the bad behavior that can affect their health, you will after some time see there is the impact that is the better or good behavioral educational change. The social, economic, and environmental change will be done following policy or organizational change, which will be seen in the better health or better quality of life in the population. That will be the outcome. This is the whole process of health promotion, where the focus is in individual, group, or population strategies, as I told you before. Then the impacts can be the behavioral, educational change, or social, economic, and environmental change, which results in better health or quality of life. Now coming to the principles of health education, there are 5 principles of health education. Here, the population as a whole is considered in the context of their everyday life, okay, rather than focusing on people at risk from specific disease. The action is on the determinants or cause of health. The health promotion aims particularly at effective and concrete public participation. So there should be a community or public participation in the whole health promotion thing. Then it combines, like I told you before, it combines diverse but complementary methods or approaches, including communication, education, etc. Primarily a societal and political venture and not medical service. Okay, so these are the principles of health promotion. Now coming to the conferences that were held on health promotion. The very first one was conducted in 1986 in Canada. That is the Ottawa Charter of Health Promotion, which is a very famous and frequently asked also. Baki, they are conducted in Australia, organized in Australia, in Indonesia, Jakarta Declaration on Lead Health Promotion into the 21st century was conducted in 1994. Again, it's a famous conference. After that, there's Nairobi and Helsinki. They are conducted in Nairobi and Helsinki. I think that will be easy for you people to remember. Now, the very that is International Conference on Health Promotion in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, 1986. It outlines 5 areas. Okay, the mnemonic is BCSTR. It is focused on building healthy public policies, creating a supportive environment, and then strengthening community action, developing personal skills, and reorienting health services. So these are the 5 outlined areas that are that came up in the Ottawa Charter. This is the diagram which summarizes the Ottawa Charter. Here you can see the 5 different areas that I have told you before. Strengthening community action, developing personal skills, building health policy, public policy that we have talked about before, creating supportive environments like for the people to take up the health utilization of health services and all, for reorienting the health services towards the primary health, rather affecting the health issues. Okay. Now coming to the 3 ways or strategies in which health could be promoted. That is, here you can see the 3 points are there: enable, mediate, and advocate. These are the 3 ways where you can, or strategies in which health could be promoted. See, in this one we left, like the Ottawa Charter outlined a set of 9 prerequisite rights. Like these are set of 9 things that they have assumed that it should be present before any health promotion activity, like peace, shelter, education, food, etc. Now coming back to the ways or strategies of health promotion, the first one is enable. Okay, it aims at reducing differences in current health status. Obviously, it aims at reducing the health inequities among the population. Okay, and ensuring equal opportunities and resources to enable all people to achieve their fullest health potential. Okay, the health services there should not be any inequities in taking up health services. This includes a secure foundation in a supportive environment, access to information, life skills, and opportunities. Now comes the mediate. Here we are the mediators, okay, professional and social group and health personnel. They are the mediate between the different interests in society for the pursuit of health. Okay. Health promotion demands coordinated action by all concerned, like for example, governments, by health and other social and economic sectors, by non-government and voluntary organization as well. Okay, so we are the mediators between the government and the population itself. We kind of mediate the different needs of the population. Now coming to the advocate. Advocacy is the act of taking a position on an issue. Like if there's any problem in your locality, in your community, you just come up with you request the city council or the people to construct or to come up with a solution with that problem. So you are advocating or taking a position on an issue, initiating action. Okay. So now come to the 5 approaches to health promotion. These are the medical, behavioral, educational, empowerment, and social change. I will explain it with an example. Like if you are trying to promote the approach to health promotion to address smoking. So in a medical approach, your aim will be to see the population from lung disease, heart disease, and other smoking-related disorders. Behavioral change aim will be that
Yeah, I think we've just lost Sakshi's connection. Just wait for a couple of minutes while she rejoins the meeting. Yes, Sakshi.
just a second. So.
Yeah,
Okay,
please continue.
I guess, is it visible?
Yeah, please continue.
Okay. Now the third approach was education. Like you have the population or the individuals should understand the effect of smoking and will make a decision whether to smoke or not and act on that decision. Obviously, when you will give the education about to the people about the ill effects of smoking, after that they will be acting. They will be thinking, okay, fine. If this habit is affecting their health, they will be try and quit that. Yeah. So this is the aim of the third approach of health promotion. The fourth approach is empowerment. The aim is to anti-smoke. For anti-smoking issue is considered only if the population identify it as a concern. The fifth one is the social change. When you will make it socially unacceptable. Okay, so it is easier not to smoke than to smoke, like no smoking policy at public places, cigarette sales are less accessible, promotion of non-smoking social norms, and limiting and challenging tobacco advertisements and sports sponsorship. Okay, so next important uh, conference was held in Jakarta. It included 5 priorities for health promotion: the social responsibility for health, increasing investment for health development, consolidate and expand partnership, increase community capacity and empower the individual, and secure an infrastructure for health education, health promotion. Now coming to some non-health sectors, this is something that you know, okay, with an input into health promotion that includes the education or school, agriculture, community services, etc. Now the health sectors which have an input in health promotion, these are the environmental health, nutrition sector, the community nursing, mental health, dental sectors, epidemiology, hospital, secondary care, school of nursing and occupational therapy. Some including the health education is essential to practice of prevention and the channel for reaching people and alerting them to health, utilize the health services and resources. Goal of health education is to make realistic improvement in the basic quality of life. These are some questions that can be asked, that is frequently asked, such as principles of health education, methods of health education, principles of health promotion, the 5 principles we have discussed, the global conferences on health promotion, especially the Ottawa Charter and the 5 points of Ottawa Charter. So I hope people were able to understand, guys were able to understand this, and if any question, you can put forward.
All right, Sakshi, I think that brings us to the end of the presentation. So I think let's just quickly go to the audience. Okay. Okay, so yes, that was a very comprehensive session by Dr. Sakshi covering the important aspects of health education, right from the principles of health education to the various declarations and significant events which have built up the health promotion across the world. Now, since this happens to be of global importance for public health dentists and otherwise also, so you have a lot of questions because this comes into mainstream dental public health, and that's the reason why we have a lot of questions being asked from this topic. So for postgraduates, again, it's quite asked in detail. I think we have a question. Yes, Ariba, go on.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
It's evening.
Good evening. Sorry. Good evening. The I want to ask something.
Please.
Sometimes we face, as an health educator, we face people who are very hostile, who don't want to listen. So how to like give education to those people? Like we go to villages and those people don't want to listen. They have their like mentality, a certain type of mentality. So what should a health educator do in those type of cases?
Okay.
See, Ariba, I think this includes two things, and I'll put my point forward, and later I'll want Dan sir to correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Yeah, I think there's been a problem with the network. We'll just wait for a minute. So Ariba's question was, how do we convince patients, right, when it comes to giving health education, especially when the patient's attitude turns a little hostile, when they're reluctant, and it's a common thing most of us would have experienced when we go to rural setup, or even to certain conservative societies where there is a lot of reluctance in adopting essentially what is good for them. And this is mainly seen in populations where we will have to go on and address on a higher level. Okay, so there are various theories, Hariva. In fact, have you come across the various models? Have you gone through the health belief and the models in detail?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Correct.
sir. I usually study like taboos and customs
Okay.
of like that place where I'm like going as an health educator. But still, like if I like, I'll give you an example. If I ask
Hmm.
people to put on mask who
Hmm.
are like daily wage workers, so
Mhm.
they will say कि मैम बहुत ज्यादा गर्मी लगती है, या वो उस तरह के excuses देते हैं. So as an health educator, I don't have time to like reason with them.
Mhm.
So I only can like give them I don't have, I want to like sit with them and tell them the whole thing. But due to like I'm a student, I don't like work under any organization now. So as an student, I only have so little time. I'm in third year right now.
Mhm.
So both argument, I don't want it to be an argument. I just wanted to let them know that I'm coming from a place of like education, love.
Mhm.
मतलब मैं stigma, I don't want to create stigma
Hmm.
because of the stigma that doctors are already facing
Yes.
due to the coronavirus. Because
Hmm.
the high class society, like people in villages, believe that this is a disease which is caused by the high class people of India, people who like went abroad and bring this disease. So
Hmm.
it's been 2 years, and I come from a very like small place in Uttar Pradesh. So it is very difficult to convince these kind of people.
Hmm.
Like now we are hearing about Delta virus.
Yeah.
The new variant is found a festival virus in UK, and the
Right.
government has
I
not
understood
like
it.
stopped.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
So
Ariba,
sir,
now when you
yeah.
have a situation like this is in fact referred to as the tragedy of the commons. A common phenomena what we see is that when we try to tell people what's good for them, somehow strangely there is a reluctance on their part. Now, this is got to do a lot with the psychological mindset of patients. Okay, they know that it's for their good. Again, it's all about the power of persuasion. Okay, now this is the reason why the onus of generally healthcare or public healthcare measures has to involve the community from the ideating and the inception point of view. Now, I'm giving you a global perspective here. Okay, if you have to persuade people for something in that, you will have to first of all tell it to the people they will listen to, because in many cases the white coat would be the main barrier. They don't want to take it from you or from someone who they're not confident, or they don't trust you. So when you break down these principles, right, in fact, when you look at the simple principles of health education, that once they have a sense of credibility with you, and then they're able to see you and relate and establish that what's important for them is being. So once this barrier is broken, trust me, this is a fairly amenable situation where you can go in and persuade patients. Okay, of course there is the art of communication. You'll have to put it across in a way they understand. Also give them relatable examples. Okay, relatable examples, and show them the benefits. Now this is again when it comes to counseling, or be it for tobacco cessation or for any other kind of behavioral change. Okay, now health is something, healthcare related measures or any other kind of interventions are all dependent upon the understanding of how deep rooted that feeling is. Okay, probably there's been an episode of mistrust for the patient, or they might have seen everybody in the same way. Okay, so I wouldn't really blame the patients or the doctors for that. But then when you go out into communities, what you shared right now, right, it's a first hand experience. And COVID, even in fact after COVID have taken so many lives across the country, people still have that complacency that they would go out without a mask. Okay, they know this, but still why they're doing this. Okay, so until there is messaging, in fact there is health education which has to be messaged in a proper packaged form, where it relates to each one of them and it instills. And let me tell you, by instilling with the help of fear, it's not going to make them change. Okay, if that was that case, I think a crusade against oral cancer would have long been won by the dental professionals. So if you just tell that oral cancer is going to happen, if you're not going to try fear tactics, it does work in some of the cases, but it will not in many cases. So this is something which has to be addressed more at a behavioral aspect, understanding the psychology of the patient and otherwise. Yeah, I think we have Sakshi with us. Yeah, Sakshi, would you like to add on to some of the points? I was just filling in for you. Yeah.
No, sir, that is fine. I guess you have talk about the tattoo and the part of the interest, and obviously I think covered everything.
Yeah, I think there seems to be a network issue at Sakshi's end. Okay. All right. So do we have any other questions, guys? Many other postgraduates who'd like to share any experience related, because this is a very, very pertinent topic for all of y'all. At some point of time, when you've gone to your camps or when you've interacted with people at large, health education sounds very easy to do on theory, but when it comes to practical aspects, there's a lot of reworking which has to be done. Okay, it involves effective communication. It involves facilitating leadership roles between the health educator and the public at large. Again, usage of a lot of goodwill people to establish good human relations and make them understand. So it is, of course, no doubt a Herculean task, and we have to counter also the forces which act against, be it the tobacco lobby or be it anything related to proponents of a certain school of thought. So this is definitely a very essential and a core aspect what we study in public health dentistry. Okay. Yes. Yes, Sakshi, would you like to just summarize the topic for us? Yeah, I think Srinidhi wants to ask a question. Yeah, go ahead, Srinidhi.
Yes, good evening, sir and ma'am. It was a brief and it was a good presentation. And I wanted to ask that if we see this, the concepts of health education or anything related to the tobacco cessation, we come up and it ends up in knowing little bit of psychology of the patient, or it relates with the it really feels like we need to know more about this. So how a postgraduate student can improve his brief intervention skill or anything related to counseling? I wanted to just know that. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Sakshi.
The question, if you can please repeat the
Yeah,
question.
I'll just repeat the question, Sakshi. Srinidhi wanted to know that as a postgraduate, how can she develop her skills? Because bringing about change in the behavior, that is health education interventions, there is obviously quite a bit of psychology of the patient to be understood. So how can we and what methods she wants to know, especially for counseling in tobacco and related issues?
Okay. For me, according to me, what I think is whenever you are trying to educate a person other than the education, you have to know about the challenge, okay, which is the point that actually is hindering them. Okay, what they follow or whatever they develop understanding is. And after that, when you come to, you have to start from that level. Okay, you can't just change someone's thinking in a 15-minute session. You have to start and then you have to give them examples. You can give them examples, or you can keep on doing camps. And when there is, according to me, if you keep on doing camp on certain places.
Okay, I think we've again lost a connection. Nevertheless, okay. Let me just try to answer what Srinidhi asked. Yes, Srinidhi, are you there? Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So, Srinidhi, when you're talking about what a postgraduate needs to know, okay, when it comes to counseling or understanding behavioral psychology, okay, you must at least learn some methods or tactics where you can analyze the personality traits. Okay, you must, of course, with basic of knowledge of all the health models of change and behavior, be it the belief model or the Procastas model and everything which is there, about 5 or 6 models. You must understand the level of cognition what the patient has, and try to analyze, especially when it comes to tobacco. Also, we do habit analysis, and then we try to find out the psychological dependence, okay, and look at the root causes, okay. And for this, you will have to learn the art of questioning. And when even if you're doing behavioral interventions, if you're interested for tobacco or for any other positive impact, okay, when you look at this in terms, I mean, let me just give you a case study where how they tried to create awareness about water fluoridation in the United States. When we see that any public health intervention like this, people were very reluctant. So they took them into confidence and they try to analyze that how much do they actually care for the oral health of the children, and whether they look at fluoride as a preventive measure. So you have to build context, okay? So there were a lot of questionnaires and mails sent out to people across the United States, and telephonic interviews were conducted. So you could hone yourself and develop your skills in the art of questioning, okay, identifying the major indicators or significant clues, okay, even analyzing the patient's non-verbal expressive. Sometimes they don't have to answer, or they don't have to give you the absolute answer. You might just pick up on certain non-verbal. So it's all about increasing. If you could just work on that, that's a very good way to start on this topic.
Sure, sir. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have a question for
some network issue.
That's okay, Sakshi. That's all right. Ariba wants to know which books to refer for belief models. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I want to know which books. Yeah. So you were telling about the models.
Models, yeah. It's given beautifully in your Cynthia Pine textbook. That's again, you can look it up. Most of your community oral health books, right? It's also there in DALI, a little bit about in Essentials of Dental Public Health, DALI and VAT. It's there in Cynthia Pine. There's also enough information in Norman Harris, because they've tried to analyze the interventions and a lot of the preventive techniques. How do you understand, analyze, and there are also some case studies related to water fluoridation. You can also look up, and you'll get plenty of information, because this is again an upcoming topic, and interventional psychology of various health beliefs, because what people think about their health and the perception of being in a state of good oral health and impacting the quality of life. Okay, so there are about 5 or 6 models. It's again a main question for many of the postgraduates who are appearing for exams soon. So please do look it up, and we'll be sharing some material also in that relation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Sakshi ma'am or Randy sir, like, can you give information about any such courses which give like about brief intervention, or like with regard to improving the communication skills? Any
Yeah,
such
I mean,
course?
you can enroll yourself for motivational interviewing. For tobacco cessation, also there is a plenty of online courses which are available. Okay, there are institutes. I think I can share the details with you later. Anything Sakshi is aware of for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, any other questions, guys, before we wrap up the session for today?
So can we also refer to the pedo books like the Eric
Yeah,
Erickson,
yeah, yeah. It's all
Chori?
there. Yeah, actually, pedo textbooks, it focuses more on child psychology. I think the chapters which you're referring for, uh, you are actually looking for models of behavioral change, okay, and health belief models and the various which are given trans theoretical model. All these things are focused more on public health textbooks. So if you could find them there, also well and good. Because I think pedo textbooks focus more on behavior management, and they have given the context for those models. So child psychology, psychodynamic theories, and your Freud's philosophy. Any psychology textbooks, you will be able to find sufficient information on that.
Like MD psychology books we can like refer to in the library.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So before we wrap up for today, I think take a minute and thank Sakshi for this session today. Thank you so much, Sakshi, for taking out this time
Thank you so
and
much,
doing
sir.
this. It's okay for the network
Totally
issues.
my pleasure.
Yeah, I think there's a voice overlap. All right. So thank you so much, Sakshi. Very important topic, health education and promotion. I think you've really touched upon the aspects which are important for an undergraduate and postgraduate level. And I hope this session was really helpful for everybody who's been attending this as well. And then I think this we'll share the presentation in our WhatsApp groups as well. So you can always look it up and you can write to us on our email address with specific queries if you want resource material or you want any other kind of support for public health dentistry topics here. So I'll be really happy to do that for everybody here. Finally, thank you so much, Dr. Sakshi, for the session today and all the
Yes, sir.
participants.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right. Okay. So for the rest of y'all who, in case you've missed the parts of the session, you can always go to our YouTube channel and look it up there. You'll find the recording available. And I've also posted the link to our learning group in the chat box. So you can join our WhatsApp group. We'll be sharing the slides of today's presentation and for the notifications. And yes, with that, we bring to you the end of today's session. Thank you all so much. All of you stay safe and learning curve, let it be on the groove, and we'll see you all very soon on the next session, which is day after tomorrow. We have a very interesting rendezvous session coming up. Someone who is uh, from our fraternity, from dentistry, and also is very passionate about edible art and tablescape stylist. So if you're keen to know and know about the person, you do join us for the rendezvous session on Sunday evening at 6 o'clock. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Sakshi. Wonderful having you.